Now, one of the biggest misconceptions in meme coin trading is that you can't start with a small portfolio. Whether it's 0.1 Solana, 0.5 Solana, or even 1 Solana, people say that it's almost impossible to start with such a small amount. But in today's video, I'm gonna be showing you guys how I went from 0.1 Solana to over $60,000 worth of Solana. And as you guys can see, this is my Axiom dashboard right here. In the last 7 days, I made $14,000, and in the last 30 days, I made $60,000, starting all from 0.1 Solana. Now, obviously, this is on multiple wallets as my portfolio got bigger and bigger, but it did all start from 0.1 Solana. Now, although it isn't impossible to start with 0.1 Solana, it can be one of the most difficult things to do in meme coin trading. So in today's video, I'm gonna be showing you guys some simple tricks that I use so that it is more simple for you to grow such a small portfolio. Now, there are multiple reasons people start with only $17 worth of Solana. Maybe you're not sure if meme coin trading is for you, or you just don't have the money to risk into meme coins like that. And now the first thing that I want to tell you guys when you're starting with a smaller portfolio is that you want to go for big plays. Now, I don't mean these little 10% to 50% plays, because if you make 10% of $17, that's only $1.70, and this just isn't enough profit to cover fees usually. What you're going to be wanting to go for is at least 2x's, but honestly, I would be going for 5 to 10x's when starting with something like 0.5 Solana. Let's say you put 0.1 Solana into a coin and it 10x's, well then your portfolio is already at 1 Solana or $170. Now this is very, very possible, and I was able to do this over and over, therefore growing my portfolio. But the first thing I would recommend is for you guys to really try to grow your portfolio initially and actually start with more than 0.1 Solana. Now obviously this isn't essential, but it's gonna help you guys a lot when trading on these platforms. And what you guys can actually do is sign up for certain websites with bonuses. Now there is a bunch of websites with bonuses. If you're starting with only 0.1 Solana, your main goal is to try and grow this for free before actually trading. Now there's obviously other ways to get more money like giveaways, which is a great way. But the reason that these websites actually give you bonuses is because they take a fee when you trade on their website, and therefore they want to kind of make you sign up for the website and then trade with them. So basically what you're going to want to do is just find a bunch of websites that give you these sign up bonuses, or I also provide these in my group where I can help you guys out. Now you may be nervous to start trading, and that's very common with meme coins. Before, there was no such thing as paper trading with meme coins, but the cool thing is that you guys are actually able to paper trade if you want now. Meme coins have grown so much, and there's actually so much opportunity now, and you actually are able to paper trade with some websites that you guys can find online. Now obviously you want to start with paper trading to build your confidence, and then you can get into real money. Since we're starting with only 0.1 Solana, we're going to want to make sure that we're very confident with our trades and that we are entering them as quick as possible. Now obviously when trading, you don't want to FOMO into the top of the coins, or buy after tracked wallets. What you're actually going to want to do is buy when everyone is panicking and trying to sell. Now this is actually the first thing you need when trading, is a good mindset. Now obviously meme coin trading can look very simple from the outside, but it's like any type of trading like Forex, where it's just very volatile. Now obviously you don't want to be worrying about you losing money the whole time. Instead, you're going to want to be worrying about your entries and making sure that you don't FOMO. Now I'm going to show you guys an example of what I mean with the trade that actually has made me money. Here's a simple trade that I actually called in my calls group that was able to 3x. Now obviously this wallet right here is me. This is my main wallet, and I am on Axiom to show you guys. Now on this chart, you guys are gonna think that it was stupid to buy down here, but that's exactly what you're gonna be thinking when you are a beginner. Now the main thing I looked for on this trade before I shared it with my group is the entry. I wanted to make sure the entry was a great entry and it was very smart. Now obviously you could see this coin has absolutely tanked from the all-time highs, but I knew that there are still eyes on it since it was at such a high market cap for such a long time. And that's the good thing. I knew I was able to buy this bottom right here and snipe a quick 3x. Now why did I take this trade, and why did I not FOMO in more at the top? Well, basically I took this trade because it's at a support. Now meme coins do actually have supports, and at the time crypto was very weak, so I was kind of gambling with this trade, but there's obviously still a thought behind the trade. Now this trade alone, I was able to make 1.5k. Now obviously I do have a bigger portfolio now, so I'm able to enter with much more. But even if you entered with 0.1 Solana, you would have made 0.3 Solana if you sold up here. So now that I showed you guys that chart, I'm going to show you a different chart and explain how I'm able to read these charts and actually know when to enter. Now my next example is this coin called Diamond Hands, and this was a quick in and out profit for this coin. Now I was actually able to make $650 in this coin, and here's how. Basically, this coin was very hype. It actually had a few KOLs buying in, and it was actually able to migrate. Now, common reoccurrence with coins like this is they're able to migrate, but then they have this insane dump after. Now, some levels I look for after this dump are 10K and 20K. Now, obviously this coin absolutely just blew through 20K. It had a little bounce right here. This is almost a 2x, but then it dumped down to exactly 10K. Now, if you're able to buy this 10K area like I would, then you might be able to actually scalp the chart. And as you can see, it went from 10K all the way up to 22. So an easy, quick 2x. And you guys are trading with a smaller portfolio, so it's much easier to get these big multipliers because you're able to sell your supply easier. Now, another great example of an entry is right here when it hits around 9 to 10K once again. And as you guys can see, I finally do enter right here a little bit late, but I saw the chart was starting to reverse and I thought the coin had a good community behind it. So as you guys can see, I bought down here twice at 12.5K. And I was actually able to catch the coin all the way up to 27K, and I obviously slowly started to trim out of the position. Now, if there was more potential for this coin, then obviously I would have held it to all-time highs or even more. And a great example of this would be this coin I just CTO'd this morning, which was actually able to 10x. Now this coin is still moving, and I actually still do own the CTO, and I'm still trying to push the coin currently. But as you guys can see, this coin absolutely sent. And how did I know it was gonna send? I literally used the exact technique that I just explained to you guys. And I'll explain it one more time for anyone who doesn't understand. But as you guys can see, my 3 buys right here were exactly at around 20K market cap. Now this coin was a little bit more in demand, so I had to buy the coin, and I had to be very careful when I was gonna have my stop loss and also take profit. Now obviously if I didn't sell any of the coin, we would have made an insane amount of profit, almost a 10x. And I actually did call this coin in my calls group at 20K, but it even went to low as 15K. So you would have had almost a 15x on this coin if you guys were to see it, and obviously if you guys were able to enter here. The reason this coin was good, it was holding its floor very well, and also the community behind it was pretty strong. Now, what do all of these coins actually kind of have in common? They have someone famous buying them. Whether you're seeing tracked wallets like Cupsy, Orangie, or just random wallets that you find, usually they are buying coins, pumping it, and then dumping it, and you can actually get in to these coins after they dump. Now, for example, this guy just bought this random coin that dumped, and I'm actually tracking his wallet. Now, maybe this is a good buy for me. And now the thing is that you guys are gonna be wanting to buy after track wallets sell. For example, this wallet I track right here, bought this coin, it pumped, and then he dumped it, and now I would most likely want to enter. Now, obviously this coin doesn't have too much motion or people buying it. Therefore, I might not actually enter this coin because there isn't any more interest in it. Now, normally when these famous people buy these coins, then there will still be interest and there will still be people buying and selling. And whether they're selling or buying, it obviously shows that there is still people staring at the coin. So you want to always make sure you are buying after a dip, especially if a famous person sells a lot of supply, then it might be a good time to enter the coin. Now, how am I able to enter these coins quick so that I can make a profit and I actually can buy the dip and then sell the top? I do this by using Axiom. Now, you guys can use my link down below and you'll actually get 10% back on all your trades. All right, guys, we actually might have a trade right now that we're able to take. As you guys can see, this guy bought this coin and it is kind of blowing up right now. So I'm gonna enter with 3 Solana and let's see what happens. Now, the reason I entered this trade is because a coin that is very similar just bonded to it. And this is literally a tracked wallet, so let's see what happens. This is a great example. I basically tracked this wallet. I see he bought this coin, and then I saw that the not OG just actually bonded. So let's see. Now, a lot of the times when you're buying a coin, you want to make sure that it is the OG. Normally, copies do not send as hard as OGs do. And as you guys can see, we're already up 0.2 Solana on this trade, and we just entered it. Now, obviously, this coin can go much, much higher because it has been very high in the past. And that's why this is a better trade, because my risk to reward is there. And especially when you're trading with a smaller portfolio, if you do find the OG and buy it right away, and you're able to get in early, then sometimes you can catch the upside like that. Now, as you guys can see, this coin is actually having a lot of KOLs buy it. or basically famous people are buying this coin and they still haven't realized that there is an OG from 1 year ago on this coin. That's why this trade was pretty smart to make. Now, I could obviously wait for this coin to randomly get picked up, and that's what we're gonna be hoping for. But this is another great tip, is that you actually wanna buy the OG, and usually you don't wanna buy copies. Now, here's the last thing I look for when entering a trade, and it's stabilization. Now, what do I mean? I'm gonna show you guys real quick. So we have this chart here on this coin that just bonded, and it's absolutely sending. But basically, stabilization is when the coin first comes out like this, it comes up, has a pump, and then it kind of goes down and it stabilizes in this area like so. And then it obviously reverses or it goes down to 0. But this is exactly what you're going to be looking for, is kind of this floor that keeps getting bought. And you can clearly see that with these big wicks. And this is honestly where you're going to be wanting to enter. And this is how you're going to have the least risk, but the most profit potential. If you were to enter on these wicks right here, or the stabilization as I would call it, then you would have a 4 or 5x already. Now, almost every single successful coin that you've ever heard of has this little stabilization. Now, obviously there's levels to it. As you can see, there is another stabilization happening here. But obviously it's more risky up here because it is higher and the coin is much higher in market cap now. So your entry would be around here, and it would hopefully go like this and then eventually break out. But the earlier you are, the bigger chances you have for those multiples, like I was talking 5, 10x. And as you guys can see, look at that. It literally hit my stabilization perfectly like I drew. And it might do that a few times, or it might just dump down. And that's the risk when entering these coins that are higher market cap already, is that they have the potential to dump way easier. Now, honestly, I wouldn't enter this coin because it isn't the OG, and I'm actually in the OG currently. As you guys can see, some people are buying the OG and it's actually going up more and more. Now the tracked wallet just sold some. So we're gonna wanna be very, very careful. If you guys do not understand it still and need extra help, make sure you guys join my group down below. Now, I do have a free calls group, and then I obviously have a paid group where I can help you one-on-one in video and kind of explain every single week and do live trades with all of you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Drop a like if you did, and I'll see you guys next video.